listen to the science.
Muhammad Ali was the most important man in the world.
The price of freedom comes high. I have paid, but I am free.
These and other shows from your PBS station are available with Passport on the PBS Video app. Download it today.
You're watching New England Public Media on WGBY Springfield.
Enjoy a Tanglewood treat from the Boston Symphony Orchestra. The legendary John Williams conducts the world premiere of the violin concerto he wrote for the acclaimed Anne Sophie Mutter, along with some of his beloved Star Wars music. And Andres Nelson's conducting other works. Join us for a John Williams premiere at Tanglewood on Great Performances.
John Williams at Tanglewood, November 12th, or stream at nepm.org.
Coming up, stories we're connecting you with tonight. A local artist raises awareness about a tragic period in Native American history with a new memorial.
The brutality at these schools was centered around disassociating the children from their native culture so that they could be reconditioned to exist kind of outside of their community.
Entrepreneurship meets sustainability in a program designed to create jobs in the region.
We match them with mentors as well as help give them access to people in the local community who might be able to help them further their business.
And prepare yourselves for the musical onslaught of Theater of Malum.
This is just what we love to do. I mean, really, it's not really about fame or about, money or anything. That we just love playing music. That's like all of our dream.
We'll bring you those stories and more as we explore the creativity, culture, and community that make us Western New England. Up next on Connecting Point.
Support for Connecting Point is provided by our contributing viewers.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us for Connecting Point. I'm Saidalis Bauer. In the 19th and 20th centuries, the United States established federally funded Indian boarding schools that aimed to strip Native American children of their culture. According to historians, hundreds of thousands of Indigenous families were forced to send their children to these schools, where many suffered physical, sexual, and cultural abuse and neglect. Many children never returned home, and their fates have yet to be accounted for by the U.S. government. In an effort to bring awareness to this atrocity, artist Jason Montgomery created a memorial entitled Save the Man that remembers, honors, and acknowledges those who died while attending these schools in the U.S. and Canada. Producer Dave Frazier brings us the story.
California native Jason Montgomery is a visual artist, poet, and playwright. In 2016, he, along with his wife Alexandra Woolner, founded Attack Bear Press in East Hampton, an arts collaborative that has developed several shared projects, art installations, and workshops.
A lot of the work that I do and that Attack Bear Press does, it has a social justice element. I think that comes from kind of the long history of political action through Chicano art. The idea was to create art and create aesthetic and to guide and sculpt culture while also speaking to the issues that surrounded our community.
Montgomery's Save the Man installation is on the ground floor of Eastworks in East Hampton. The exhibit is in response to what he says is the discovery of nearly 8,000 Indigenous children found dead at former residential school sites in Canada. He says this discovery provides evidence of the systematic brutality of the residential school program, both in Canada and the U.S.
There was a famous quote in the U.S. around the policy dealing with Native Americans and kind of the U.S. governmental philosophy around how they would interact with natives, and that was save the man, kill the Indian. In the space right now, we have about 2,000 orange finder flags. Each flag represents at this point about 4 Indigenous children for every one flag that's been found. So it's about 8,000, I think, at this point.
Montgomery says from 1879 to the present day, it is estimated that hundreds of thousands of Native Americans attended Indian boarding schools as children.
The brutality at these schools was centered around disassociating the children from their native culture and from their native identity, from stripping that aspect of who they were away from them so that they could be reconditioned to exist kind of outside of their community.
Along with the orange marker flags, Montgomery has included pieces of a previous exhibit, 3 freestanding collaged wooden structures.
It was a three-dimensional structure at first, and for this project we wanted to break it apart, really start kind of disassembling this thing that masked the real horrors that Native and Indigenous people deal with and are still dealing with, because this is a very contemporary trauma.
Visitors to this memorial are intentionally blocked from entering the space. Viewing can be seen through windows. People who do visit the memorial are asked to share their feelings by leaving a word or phrase in the boxes provided, or leaving a message on the glass door.
We have been keeping the door locked and shut. We wanted to create a barrier so that people can't come in and have a moment of release. We wanted the community to really have to reflect on this, to look in on it, and to then share back.
Some of the thoughts left by people will be incorporated into a series of poems that will be shared with the community and sent to lawmakers calling for the investigation into the U.S. residential school sites.
We're asking you to leave your words. We're asking you to let us take your words and use your words to communicate about how vital the investigations are, because that is what we hope to accomplish with our art. A lot of what I do is drawn to this idea of how can I activate the community? How can my work move people to action? It's not just about appreciation. It's not just about consuming this piece of art and moving on. It's about really moving them to the next step, which is I've been engaged, I've been informed, and now I'm going to move.
Fiber enthusiasts throughout our region will be gathering this weekend at the Eastern States Exposition for the 11th annual 2021 Fiber Festival of New England. This 2-day festival, taking place November 6th and 7th, will feature over 150 vendors, workshops, animals, and an array of handmade items, all made from natural fibers. I spoke with Donna Woolham, the Director of Agriculture at the Eastern States Exposition, to hear more about why this festival began and what attendees can look forward to at this year's event.
The Fiber Festival is made up of vendors who have mostly from the area. We have some from outside the region, but mostly from the area, who have a product that they have created on their own farm or in their own enterprise for sale. It was created to offer the opportunity to those involved in agriculture who were doing an added value products such as fiber, wool, rabbit hair is considered fiber, alpaca hair, llama wool, they're all considered natural fibers. And this was an opportunity for these people to develop a market. And that's why this started 11 years ago with our partners, the New England Sheep and Wool Growers Association.
This year marks the 11th annual Fiber Festival. Why do you think that this event is so popular among fiber enthusiasts?
Well, it is the only event of its kind within a radius of our viewership. And it's an event that allows you to come, it's one-stop shopping. You don't have to drive from yarn shop to yarn shop or button shop to button shop to create a garment that you would like to show off, or to buy the fleece. You can start this project from the very beginning, and it's all right here in one environmentally controlled building.
There will be about over 150 vendors this weekend with handmade items as well as other activities and educational experiences. What can visitors look forward to at this festival?
So we have an extensive workshop schedule. I would invite them to check it out on the website and sign up. for a workshop. There's everything from lace tatting to knitting to spinning, weaving, all those things. You can sign up for a workshop. We do sheep shearing demonstration, which is always popular with everybody. This is how it all starts. This is where the fiber is created, is with an animal. And then this is how we harvest the wool off of a sheep. We have a very entertaining sheep shearer who performs 3 different times each day. We actually have a fleece sale. You can come and buy your own fleece. If you want to start this project from the very beginning, you can buy your own fleece. Those of you who are not as ambitious as that can find yarn to do for knitting, and all sorts of vendors that will be here. We even have some vendors that are here that will be selling sheepskins and finished garments. We have several vendors that sell finished garments.
I can imagine that the animals are probably one of the most popular attraction at this festival. I mean, it fascinated me immediately just to hear how many different animals contribute to natural fibers. We hear that term a lot. So can you just talk about what that exactly means and why that's so important?
Natural fibers are animal created fibers. They're fibers that are created naturally. So there would be sheep wool, llama, alpaca, rabbit, cashmere goat, mohair goat. Those are called natural fibers. They're all created by an animal for human use.
The other thing that you were speaking about was the workshops. That's the other educational component to me. And that really also caught my attention because this is not just shopping, right? There's also other layers to this festival that you've incorporated. Why was it important for you to incorporate those educational moments into this festival?
Well, the mission of the Eastern States Agricultural Department and the Eastern States Exposition is to create an educational environment in agriculture, and this does it perfectly for us. These are agricultural producers, these vendors. And so we have created them an opportunity to share their knowledge with the general public in these workshops.
Now, you've been part of this festival for the 11 years that it has been taking place. What do you look forward to most each year about the Fiber Festival?
We encourage people who are fiber entrepreneurs and to wear the garments of their work that they might have bought the product for the previous year. In this case, it would be in 2019. We encourage them to wear them and show them off. And so I just like walking through the event and seeing what people have created on their own with products they have purchased here at the Fiber Festival.
Last year, I'm sure due to the pandemic, it was probably challenging to have a festival like this. How were you able to pivot and still offer something for the community? I noticed as well some of the workshops are even virtual.
Yes, so we did a little bit of a virtual component last year, and then we offered some of our own. We have a farmers market here on the fairgrounds, which will be open this weekend also, where we do sell some of these products. And so we were able to offer those virtually for sale last year. We are doing a virtual workshop this year for those who might not want to attend in person. And so we have been pivoting. A lot of this industry has done a great job of pivoting on their own. A lot of them have outstanding pages on Facebook and Instagram, and they're selling their product on their websites.
It must feel amazing to be able to welcome everyone back under the same roof at the Eastern States Exposition once again for the Fiber Festival. How does it feel to be able to open your doors and have people be in the same space together once again?
This is exciting for us. I mean, we had a year where we just had to make ends meet, and it was really hard. We're in the people business. We like providing events. It was really hard for us, and this has just been a phenomenal fall for us to be open, have our doors open, and see people just really enjoying themselves here on the grounds of the exposition.
And how can people attend this year's festival? Where can they find information, and what are the hours?
The Fiber Festival runs this Saturday and Sunday. Saturday 9 to 5 and Sunday 9 to 3. We do have a website, the Fiber Festival of New England, and you can also purchase tickets in advance on the Big E website.
First-year Latin students may learn that the word Malam means evil, but when the members of the band Theater of Malum were coming up with a name for their group, there was no ill intent. They just thought it sounded cool and were hoping to catch people's attention with the name. But it's been their musicianship that has caught people's attention even more. Now, this burgeoning metal band from West Springfield High School has landed more gigs regionally than just the high school events that got them started. Connecting Point's Brian Sullivan sat in on a rehearsal of this Metallica-influenced foursome who still aren't even old enough to drive yet.
If there's one plus to working from home, it's that during those moments of writer's block, I can walk 2 feet over from my workstation, plug in, and give myself some music therapy to clear my head. Kind of amazing I haven't been signed to a record deal yet, right? Kidding, of course. Those dreams went out the window a long time ago, along with my dreams of being an astronaut and playing for the Boston Red Sox. But for some local kids, that dream is still alive, and they're right down the road from me in West Springfield. They're not just any kids. These 4 honor roll sophomores from West Springfield High School are the band known as Theater of Malum. On Monday and Thursday nights, between the hours of 5 and 9, this foursome can be found sharpening their skills as a cohesive unit. And while the studio may just be a basement with minimal soundproofing, having any location to come to is paramount for the creative process.
I think having a place to practice and put your ideas forward is very important, because even if you have like a call or something like that, you can't really physically see or hear what's going on, and I think it's very important to have that. As for practice in general, I believe practice is very important, just getting better skill-wise. But I mean, after you've been doing it for so long, like these bigger bands, I mean, they've been practicing the same songs for 20, 30 years. So I mean, at this point, you know, I would hope they would know their songs. But regardless, I do think practice is very important to stay up and tip-top shape.
As an outside observer, it just looks like 4 good friends having a good time playing music together. And it is. But although they do play covers, they're not just a cover band.
I'd say it's a mix between both serious and fun. You know, when we're here, when we're first setting up, we're all goofing because we're all energetic. But when we're writing stuff, that's when we get a little bit more serious, you know, just so we can focus a bit more on, you know, getting all the notation and stuff down, which takes quite a bit. And then we get into writing songs where, you know, usually I leave the drums because, you know, a little bit loud and distracting, where they all go on guitars and write stuff, because drums are usually either written first or written last. That's kind of how it works, and the guitars, you know, kind of work in between. Because, you know, they're the ones that can set the melody, which kind of sets the whole tone for the song, whereas I'm just, you know, the one that keeps them on time.
Bruce and Darren have each been playing instruments since before they were 10 years old, and together as a band since middle school. But for the newest member, lead guitarist and songwriter Eli Olson, this is all a pretty new endeavor.
I started playing back in January of 2020. So as soon as the pandemic started, I kind of took that as like an opportunity to learn a new skill or something. Because I had so much time on my hands, I literally 10 hours a day, every day, for at least 4 months straight. And then I kind of slowed down a little bit, but every day, playing, and it just working at it every day.
And maybe they were just putting on a polite show for me, which they did by playing a pretty solid Metallica mashup. But these 4 boys, who aren't even old enough yet for their driver's permits, showed a lot of maturity in the brief time that we spent together. It'll be interesting to see where they are in a few years if and when they go away to college.
Even if we were to leave to like different colleges or go to different places, I think we would still try to stay connected with each other, keep coming to practice every twice a week like we are doing. We're probably going to keep trying to do this as long as we can.
This is just what we love to do. I mean, really, it's not really about fame or about, you know, money or anything. That we just love playing music. That's like all of our dream, and we just really enjoy it, and that's just kind of what keeps us going, gives us motivation, just doing what we love.
Every Friday night, Connecting Point explores the creativity, culture, and community that make us Western New England. But it doesn't stop there. You can find us online anytime for exclusive features and content. We just introduced you to the West Springfield group Theater of Malum, a heavy metal band made up of local high school students. And in this digital exclusive, we get a taste of some of that original music that they've been working on. Don't miss this digital exclusive as well as other music from other local performers in all genres, available online right now at nepm.org/connectingpoint. The second annual Mohawk Trail Entrepreneur Challenge is underway, and this year's focus is on developing sustainable wood and forest product businesses. The challenge, launched by Lever, a local economic development nonprofit, will feature 8 finalists that will complete an acceleration program, ultimately leading up to one company being chosen to receive a $25,000 grant to help launch or grow their business. The goal of this program is to create jobs in the Mohawk Trail region, and I spoke with Jade Schnauber, the Workforce Programs Manager at Lever, to learn more.
The goal of this program is to activate entrepreneurs in the area towards economic development in specifically the environmental and sustainability area of industry. The goal is to create more jobs in the Mohawk Trail region, as well as bring more revenue, tourists, basically just more recognition to the area.
This year, the challenge's focus is on environmental sustainability and conservation. Why was this chosen as the theme for this round, and who is eligible to apply?
This was chosen as the theme for this round, particularly because that is the mission of the Mohawk Trail Woodland Partnership, where we get our funding. Their goal is really to enhance forest-based economy in the local region and give them more access to conservation, access strategies, and in general, new forest-related enterprises, which is where we come in. Anybody who is involved in this forest-related enterprises, whether that's sustainability or wood-based products or, the plethora of other ones that can exist, they're eligible to apply and able to take part in our program.
You mentioned the Mohawk Trail Woodlands Partnership. Can you talk to me a little bit more about that partnership, and why is sustainability and conservation such an important thing, especially for the Mohawk Trail region?
Yeah, it's important for this area because it's incredibly rural. The population is less than the majority of Massachusetts, and so it doesn't get a ton of state funding. So when they do get state funding, they're putting it towards things that really have to do with helping the forest and enterprises that will, help us sustain the beautiful area around here, as well as bring more business in.
After the November 19th deadline, 8 finalists will be selected to participate in an acceleration program through Lever, and one of these finalists will eventually be selected to win a $25,000 grant, which is a pretty significant amount of money. What will the finalists be learning in the program? And tell me more about how the winner is ultimately chosen.
During this program, Lever helps the businesses develop their business plans in a way that business students at college might similarly do, as well as providing this help during workshops. We match them with mentors, as well as help give them access to people in the local community who might be able to help them further their business even after the program and if they don't win. In order to win, they do a final pitch event in front of 3 judges that are chosen based on their expertise of economic development, sustainability companies, and the general Mohawk Trail region. And the winner out of the 8 finalists is the one with the best pitch that the judges have chosen that will have the best impact on the local region. And then Lever continues supporting all of the companies, including those that won and those that don't. We consider everybody who takes part in our challenges as part of the Lever family, and we continue helping them with their businesses and making contacts even after the challenge has ended.
So it's like hope is not lost for the other 7 finalists who don't win. How did it go last year? How did the challenge go last year? And how are the companies doing now?
We had 5 companies last year. 4 of them were in the ecotourism space. And then we did have one in the sustainability stage, which is he's still working on getting funders and developing the actual science behind it, because compared to ecotourism, there's a lot more science behind creating sustainability in our environment. But every company is going full-fledged and they're doing well. Some of these companies included Adventure East, Berkshire Bike Tours, the Wigwam Western Summit, and then our winners, Foolhardy Hill, which is a mix between camping and glamping in Charlemont. They have 10 sites, so you can do like normal camping, but they also have cabins, bathrooms, and then a communal area for people to eat and hang out, and like a fire pit.
With the call out to companies and entrepreneurs that are forestry-based and sustainable wood-using companies, what kind of applicants do you expect to see or even hope to see?
We're definitely hoping to see more applicants from the wood-based product sense of forest products and stuff. So furniture makers, woodworkers, people creating souvenirs out of things that were made in the forest would definitely be the sort of applicants we're looking for and hope to see this year.
What does the challenge timeline look like? Because I know I mentioned the acceleration program. So when can we expect to hear about finalists and a winner?
We're going to close our applications in about mid-November. So definitely get your applications in. We already have 2 people who've applied. And then we'll be announcing the finalists probably early January, right after the holiday season. And then our workshops will start up right at the end of January, all the way through April. And then at the end of April will be our final pitch event on April 27th.
Lever Executive Director Jeffrey Thomas stated that these challenge programs that you all have so far supported more than 80 entrepreneurs and resulted in hundreds of jobs in the region, which is amazing. So Jade, as a native of this area, how does it personally feel for you to contribute in the job growth and creation happening locally?
It feels awesome. It's great to be helping not only people get jobs at startups and the companies that we help through our challenge program, but my particular job at Lever is our workforce programs development manager. So I'm constantly helping college students find jobs with local companies that aren't quite startups, but have been here for a while. And it feels really good to give back to the community that I was raised in.
That does it for Connecting Point for November 5th, 2021. Remember, you can always find the stories that you saw tonight, as well as exclusive features, digital-only content, and more online anytime at nepm.org/connectingpoint. And please be sure to join us again next Friday night at 6 right here on New England Public Media for more stories of the creativity, culture, and community that make us Western New England. I'm Saidalis Bauer. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.
Support for Connecting Point is provided by our contributing viewers.
Divide it into 4 parts, the riff. You have 1 and 3. 2 is the higher part, not with the little extra note. 4 is with the extra note.
Oh, okay, I know what you mean. So you're talking like this.
This concert firmly set New York City on course to become the diverse and vibrant center for the arts it is today.
Martin Scorsese tells the story of a performance that made history.